Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. We have a doozy of a video for you guys today. Earlier this morning, over at Jennifer Veterans for Truth channel, she posted a 26-second masterwork in psychological operations. It is one of the most effective videos I have ever seen. In only 26 seconds, she opens up a Pandora's box of psychological dysphoria that we are going to break down today. But first, Matthew 10 and 16, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Command, be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. There are a great many people out there that call themselves Christians that are fine with that harmless as doves part. But that first part, wise as serpents, they think basically it means go to the range, complain about chemtrails, and put political bumper stickers all over your truck. Well, it's a little bit more complicated than that if we're going to be wise as serpents, because it's going to be uncomfortable, and that's why the Florida Maquis has a Patreon channel where we talk specifically about the uncomfortable topics that YouTube prohibits. If there has been a hallmark of the left in the last 2 to 5 years, what has it been? They don't want to feel uncomfortable at all. You can't do anything or say anything here on this platform that could possibly be perceived or construed as making someone uncomfortable. But what does the Bible tell us? If you're going to be wise as a serpent, you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. So without any further delay, those of you who are interested in doing this, join us. $1 per month. One. We had just finished up a 4-part series that dealt specifically with women's threats during shit hits the fan. We have just begun yesterday a brand new series about specific threats to men. And many people have showed up over there. People are starting to get it. This is the reality. Perception is the reality. Now, Jennifer Veterans for Truth put up a video that will mess with your mind. You will watch it, and you will watch it, and you will watch it, and you will think you're seeing one thing when really, truly, you are seeing another. I want to start by asking the ladies in my audience, if you were ever in a situation where you were cornered, something had happened where you had maybe gotten separated, or it's a grid down situation, and you are surrounded by men that perhaps you believe mean to do you harm. If there were something I could show you to do, a tactic, a technique that could give you an extra 5-10 seconds and allow you to get the drop on these guys and get a weapon out faster than they could get on top of you, would you be interested in knowing this? Would you be interested in seeing a tactic, a technique that could be the difference between literally life and death? In 26 seconds, and it really didn't even take that long, Jennifer Veterans for Truth put together a video showing how you could concealed carry in a way that nobody would ever predict. But the way that she does the video shows how easy it would be to distract a man long enough, just long enough, to put him in a devastatingly compromised position. Now, at the end, she does something absolutely genius to mess with the minds of everybody watching. She shows the holster that she is using. That's a hip holster. But she wears it, and I defy anyone to go watch the video and tell me that you can see that she's wearing a holster. You have no idea she's wearing a holster under this dress. And she's flipping around, dancing around, And then all of a sudden, you think something's happening, and then something else happens. But her audience over there is very different than mine. And they absolutely blew up and screamed at her about being immodest. If you'd like to watch the video, go to the Jennifer LaFontaine channel. It's youtube.com / Jennifer Veterans, the number 4 truth / videos. I'll give you the link to it. It's her most recent video. It's entitled Conceal, Carry, and Address. Yes. Now, what's the psyop? See, a lot of women, after watching it, would automatically put on some invisible shackles. They'd say, I could never do that. I could never do that. I am too modest. I am too much of a Christian to save my own life or the life of those around me or my children's lives. I'm too modest. I'm too innocent as a dove to be wise as a serpent. Think about that for 1 minute. Let me say that again. I am too innocent as a dove to be wise as a serpent. That is exactly what is shown here. This is literally Bible 101. Innocent as a dove, but wise as a serpent. There's not a guy out there that could honestly watch that video and say, straight guy out there, that could say, I would not have been duped. I would not have been duped. I would have saw right through it. I knew she was carrying. Absolutely. You would be lying. You would be lying. Any guy. Now, those of you making the modesty argument, those of you who love to ramble on about stumbling blocks, what if I told you what you believe about modesty? It was taught to you by men, not the Bible. What you believe modesty is, what was taught to you by men, not the Bible. The Bible does talk about modesty, yes, but not in the terms that you believe it in. You see, at one time, 100 years ago, this was seen as wildly immodest, even all the way over here to the right. All the way over here to the right. See the woman with the short hair? With the to the wrist black top and the way below the knee black. She's seen as inappropriate and immodest, and the church of the time in the 1800s saw this as driven and inspired by the devil. But funny story, I've showed this picture many, many times, and I've never had a comment where someone said, you know, Maquis, that could cause a married woman stumbling block, blah, 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 blah. Never heard it. Never heard it. Shown a million pictures of girls in bikinis, and I get that comment all the time. Don't do anything that could cause a stumbling block to men. You don't have the same people talking about the stumbling block to women as if they don't have the same feelings. Now, here's the hilarity. Even from my era, in the 1970s, 80s, when I was younger, the woman on the left and the woman on the right, different ages, would have not been allowed into the building where I went to church. Florida Maquis, how can you say that? They're dressed perfectly appropriately. Not in the 1970s, they weren't. And that's just the 1970s. Why on the left? A little bit too much of a V-cut here, plus the giant pearls. No. She would have had to have either found a way to button that shirt or whatever, or put on some kind of a cover. And the one on the right, the wild neon pink with the leopard wrap, with the two-tone hair and the makeup, no way. I was brought up Pentecostal. These two women, young woman, older woman, would not have been allowed. And that's the 1970s. But yet we don't hear anyone complaining about this, do we? Do you see the hypocrisy? Do you see how you are one place in your mind for one image, but you don't carry that over? See, even though this could cause a married woman to be a stumbling block or whatever term you want to use, it's never referred to in these terms. Who remembers Carrie Underwood singing How Great Thou Art on American Idol many, 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 many years ago? 2007, 8, 9, something like this. It's a very blurry video. That's the dress. would not have been allowed in my era, even as a prom dress for a young woman who professed to be a Christian. But nobody complains about it. Because why? Well, she was singing How Great Thou Art. That gives her the pass. That gives her the pass. This YouTuber, Patriot Nurse, goes out of her way to do everything she possibly can to not even be remotely perceived visually as inappropriate. But looking at some pictures here, even like I said, in my era, in the last 50 years, I could see some churches that would have some issue with the dress. Now, I'm not trying to pick on the Patriot Nurse, not trying to pick on Carrie Underwood or Tiger Schroff or these individuals or whoever they are, but Zach McGowan. You see, what we believe modesty to be is a literal psyop. It is an impression of something that men throughout the years have been wildly inconsistent on. That shows you that it's of man and not of God. And that's what starts us here. Wise as serpents, harmless as doves. If you're going to be wise as a serpent, you're going to have to understand what wisdom is. And wisdom only comes from God. The wisdom of man is foolishness to God. And that's what all this was. All total foolishness to try to sit and parse who would be right or who would be wrong or why this is good or that. You see this? It shows that there's a different definition of the word modest than what we believe it to be. Now, what Gen Vets for Truth did here was give an amazing clinic in 26 seconds on tactics and techniques for protecting yourself during shit hits the fan, during grid down. This is one of the best concealed carry videos out there. Because the most dangerous weapon, I've said this before, the most dangerous weapon you can ever have is the one your enemy doesn't know you have. Let me say that again much slower. The most dangerous weapon you can have is the one your enemy doesn't know you have. Because they can't possibly be prepared for it. And if they're as weak-minded as most North American men are, this dress, an image like this, they will not be in the right frame of mind to defend themselves one way or the other. But by the time the weapon is out, it's over for you. Yeah, you might die with a smile on your face, but you're still going to die. This is the holster, in case anybody is curious. It is in the description, I believe, of her video. I want people to go over there and watch that video over and over and over again. It is absolutely a masterclass. And if you want to see another masterclass, go all the way back to 1994. Go see if you can get this on VHS or DVD or however. Watch The Getaway. Kim Basinger, James Wood, Jennifer Tilly, Michael Madsen, Baldwin, before he was crazy. 28 years ago. 28 years ago. There are some scenes that will show you how much cowardice has taken over this country. See, back then, even then, in the 90s, Americans were still very brave. Americans had guts. See, we had freedom and we had liberty and we knew how to use it. And we knew how to be wise as serpents, yet harmless as doves. And we didn't listen to all these, you could cause a stumbling block, cowards. Every time I hear that word, I hear a coward. And I'll leave it there. Tell you what, Gen Vets for Truth, well done. Jennifer LaFontaine, absolutely Spectacularly well done. This is level 301 advanced psyops. To do this in 26 seconds, and to be very fair, it was 26 seconds for YouTube short purposes or TikTok purposes. This entire event in real life could happen in less than 5 seconds. You could go from that, hey baby moment, to that, oh, I just got my head blown off moment in less than 5 seconds. That's how good this is. And I'll leave it there. God bless. Like, share, subscribe. Join us. Join us over at Patreon. We would love to have you. It is only one. Only one. The lowest allowable level, US dollar per month. Even less if you sign up for an entire year. There's been a huge crush of guys show up over there in the last couple of days. Let's get a lot more people over there so we can go back to being that version of Americans we used to be. The ones that could speak boldly and be unafraid and take chances and live on the edge. See, that's the great command. Sending you out as sheep among wolves, be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. I can't think of a better video that sums up the idea of wise as serpents, harmless as doves than this one from Jennifer, Veterans for Truth. God bless. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.